A very warm welcome and a good morning to all of you joining our session this morning. These sessions are being held on this YouTube channel and this Zoom link every day for the benefit of people who want to understand the basics of Sahaja Yoga or want to get introduced to what is Sahaja Yoga essentially, so that they can benefit in their own lives and can help themselves. These sessions are being held thrice a day, one in the morning at 8 a.m., one in the afternoon at 4:15, and the third one in the evening at 7:45 p.m. All these sessions are made in a way so that you can know what is Sahaja Yoga, how is it different, what do we do in meditation essentially, so you can easily learn about it at your own convenience, at your own home. There are, of course, a lot of centers of Sahaja Yoga in almost all the cities internationally also, and one can go there and learn more about it later on. Apart from these sessions, we have one more session going on at 5:30 p.m. Every day again for a deeper meditation, a collective meditation for people who have now sort of understood the basics and are practicing meditation at home, but can go deeper and understand more. In Sahaja Yoga, there is a lot to know and learn. It's a very practical subject, and one can practice it and learn it, and that's the only way. But our mind doesn't settle with that easily. So first, we have to learn theoretically as well. And there are simple concepts about why we need it, what is it that we do in meditation. That first, we'll just understand mentally. Then we should go for meditation and then imbibe it with regular practice. And that's the whole idea. So in the next 45 minutes or so, what we will do is we have some slides that briefly talk about why we need it. And the session on Sunday morning is the only one in English, which is geared more towards young folks, students who are giving competitive exams and interviews and early in their jobs and life. So there is an aspect to why them also, and it will become more clear now. Apart from this one session in Marathi on Saturday morning is also held. The other all sessions are in Hindi. These were done so as to cater to people who requested to understand in other languages as well. So let's start. What is it that the proposition here is? That one can de-stress themselves, balance themselves, and get a total well-being through Sahaja Yoga. Talking about an inner transformation. It's not a mental thing, a mental projection. This, yes, now you're this, so you're much better off. Or any outward thing, or you do some exercises or breathing and you feel better, or you chant something to feel better. It's about something that happens inside that has to change ourselves. It's a very easy to agree statement that these modern times are very difficult for the youngsters. And we have mentioned competition and pressure, etc. But there are so many other aspects that are hurting uh, the young folks today very badly, mentally, emotionally, and otherwise as well. And the whole environment is very, very aggressive. The minds are full of worry. And there are so many things that are mentioned here which really come up. And it's the competition around you. It's the, you have to work hard, so many hours, students these days, and they're working, it feels like they're working more than the corporate job folks. And I have to get the best job. What will my family think about what I'm doing? What will their friends think about what we are doing? And my friends, what they are doing, where am I compared to them, and admission processes, and where my career is going, and about achieving something. Also, on the other side, this time when we are growing up and we are thinking of ourselves, what personality am I, how do I look, and so many things about the opposite sex, and all of that also comes up. It's a fairly jumbled up mindset that starts building up. Before this, it was much plainer and simple. Kids and toddlers, and they're much simpler minds. But after this age and all of that we see around, it becomes a complete mess. That results in several things. We know that all of this can lead to a lack in self-confidence. Uh, Even youngsters go into depression these days. It's really no, I mean, it's not a one-off case that we're talking about. It's a very common thing. It even does, I mean, if you are so much stressed, you cannot remember anything, you go on reading the same thing, it's of no use. And of course, we become less attentive, we're living in a stressful environment, and youngsters start also getting restless. They're not enjoying their lives so much and they become impatient and irritable. And they don't get why people don't get them, and their parents don't get why they're acting in such a way. And all of that happens, and they start sort of running away from reality also. And that's how uh, they take to wrong habits of so many things that we know of, even smoking, drinking, and drugs as well. So all of this again gives a lot of anxiety, tension, loss of sleep as well. That's, I think, a little later stage in life, but all of this builds up eventually into something inside us that can cause a lot of physical problems as well. And one of them is, of course, insomnia, where this constant thinking and stressing and worrying and all of this leads to a state of mind, or a call it pravritti, where people are so aggressive all the time that the mind doesn't stop. We talked about smoking, drinking, and medical illnesses also. And these days, people in 20s are getting heart attacks, and it's like and nobody's able to really understand why. He was leading a very healthy life, very he would go to the gyms and running and all of that. But it's because we don't understand our complete being in a totality. We look at one side of things. Oh, okay, I need to have a good health. Let's start. Or I need to do this to look better. Or some or the other aspect. Oh, I need to have a good brain, so I should keep on thinking and working. And we don't look at ourselves in totality, and that is why we keep stressing on one thing a lot or one side a lot and forget the other side. This leads to several problems inside us. Some of them are mentioned here. Of course, when we are one-sided, we go into extremes, we don't do well in our life overall. We might look very successful on one side, but to really understand if the person is leading a happy, balanced life, and the people around him, how they feel about it, all of that doesn't happen with one-sided success. So I'm sure all of us are being told, don't take stress. It doesn't matter. Don't take stress. Just live your life. Do what you can do. Do your best, but don't take stress. So it never works because just mentally telling ourselves something doesn't help. We are seeing everything around us, and that surrounding, that world doesn't go away by just saying, I'm not taking stress. That is always there. And looking at them and thinking about all of the things that we just talked about, it just keeps on building the stress. So that's the question, how? So we tend to take to a lot of things which are temporary in nature. We find people take to some routines in exercising or something so that the mind clears off. Or music and other art forms also sometimes help, and that is a good thing, but it doesn't really uplift you from the state. Whereas meditation has that capacity to do it. Now, how and why and all of that, I think it will take a little while, but this is the whole idea. So, what is meditation? So, meditation, first of all, the first state that you get in meditation is of thoughtless awareness. It's called as Nirvichar Chetna, which means There are no thoughts, but there is complete awareness. So that is the silence that you get. Many people think it's impossible that I'm not thinking. If some of us have tried sitting in meditation, some of us try to focus on something or concentrate here or there or chant some mantras. Something is going on constantly with our brains or some mental activities on so that we are here. Now, without any mental activity, to get the thoughtless awareness in peace, that is the first step of meditation. So that gives us a complete silence, uh, an earth that is not shaking all the time. There's no earthquakes going on all the time. That is where this awareness can grow, which is why this meditation, this thoughtless awareness is so essential for us to grow in any way possible. This is the only way. Now, if we think about what we are thinking all the time, for example, now we are attending this session, we'll be planning, oh, after this, I have to go there, I have to do that. Or, oh, I should have done this yesterday or last year, or I could not achieve this. My forefathers did this, etc., etc. So we are all the time thinking of only two things, either of the past or of the future. This is what we do, and we don't realize it, but this is constantly what we're doing. Meditation is about being in the present. And that is the start. That is the first thing, again, that we get. So it's like we are always on the cusps of these thoughts. It's a sine wave curve made out here. We all know it. But what happens is that we jump from one crest to the crest. It just goes on and on. And we don't realize that the thoughts have also changed. It just goes on and on. Like we also dream and the dreams keep changing. And similarly, the thoughts are also going on. So it's 24 hours, the mind is thinking something and going through something. So there's no peace of mind. Peace of mind comes when there is a gap in these thoughts. In Sanskrit, it's defined as the vilamb, which literally means the pause of these thoughts. That is where we get a stable peace of mind state. Now, what is Sahaja Yoga? So I understand that I need to meditate, but why is Sahaja Yoga? What does it do, really? Why are we proposing that the Sahaja Yoga only can solve all of this? So there are so many ways and methods that have come up today uh, of yoga and meditation, and everything is so confusing that it becomes a very important question. But one important thing to understand about meditation is that one does not do meditation. So it's not a physical exercise to be done or a mental exercise to be done. It is something that happens on its own. One is in meditation. This is a very difficult concept for us to understand. That is why Shree Mataji Nirmala Devi, who started Sahaja Yoga in 1970, coined it as Sahaj Yoga. Sahaj means something simple, as we understand. But what it also means is something spontaneous. Sahaj, it happens on its own. And that is the one point at which most of the other methods today can be discarded. Because there we are doing something to achieve something. If it is something that I can do physically or mentally, then anybody can achieve it, right? But this is something that is bestowed upon by the divine on us, and it is not done easily by doing some yoga exercises, etc. So there's a myth about the exercise part also that that is yoga. It is not. It was defined or made by the Patanjali, as we know him, the sort of the first person who really talked about yoga in such details. He made 8 parts of it, Ashtanga yogas. Out of that, Yam Niyam Pranayam Pital. Out of that, one part had a 1B bit of it called as yoga asanas, actually. So those asanas help us keep our physical self all right, so that we can get to meditation. So there are several such things which are um, wrong connotations that have come up for meditation or yoga. Yoga literally means the union of the self with the divine. It means the union. So there has to be a union that has to happen. How will that happen? That is a very critical question. None of us ask, we talk about yoga so frequently today, but we don't really understand how this thing is going to happen. So we'll try to explain that in the next slides also. But what happens in Sahaj Yoga is that we can understand ourselves on our own. Up until now, we have not known ourselves, who we are, how are we inside really. And for example, I'm a very egoistic person. Nobody can tell me that I'm egoistic, right? Because if they do, I'll probably hit them. But if I meditate, I get the status of my chakras inside on my fingertips. And through that, I can understand, okay, this is my problem. See, it so happens that we go to the doctors and then the doctors tells us that you have only a few months left to live. I mean, that's just ridiculous to realize that we know absolutely nothing about ourselves, why there's a problem brewing inside, what has happened. So there are things that can be like that seen and understood about ourselves and then about the others. We truly become a collective being, not just mentally saying that, we are brothers and sisters and then we keep on fighting with each other. But it's something that happens, it happens, and we get connected to the mains, let's say. We're all computers, for example, and there's a server sitting in between. We can connect with that and understand about others. So today, sitting here, I can see about anybody sitting in US, what's the status of that gentleman or lady. So I can get the answers. I can get the absolute answers of questions which have absolute answers of yes and no in meditation very easily. All of us can. Why that happens is because when we said that we get connected with the divine starts flowing through us. And we feel it as a cool breeze on our hands. Our hands are the end points of our nervous system, which is why, and this happens through our, and that's maybe we'll explain more about it in the next slide also. But just to cover what else is mentioned here is that it is a very scientific thing. There are a lot of Indian scientists who have done PhDs in through Sahaj Yoga of how people can be cured. But that's not the main point. A lot of international scientists have also done a lot of research on Sahaj Yoga. It is something that you can verify on your own, right here, right now, and can experience it, and then practice it and see in your daily lives how this improves and helps you. So, just to briefly touch upon how our internal system looks like, because we had started talking about it, and one does not need to get bogged down about so many things that are mentioned here. But this is something that we have probably seen. A lot of us have seen it now because it's become a very common thing. People have started talking about chakras and nadis and Kundalini Shakti inside. When Shree Mataji had started in 1970, we never had charts like this, and we used to make by hands, but it was a rare thing back then. It is an ancient knowledge of our country. It's been described in several scriptures, but the actual experiencing of it has always been kept very secretive. We have known of several Nathpanthis and several gurus and rishis and munis of ages past who used to give realization to one of their shish. Now, Shree Mataji has devised a way for all of us to get it. Even get a little bit of light coming inside us, and then we can cure ourselves and improve ourselves. The earlier method was to first put yourselves through rigorous, you know, all sorts of exercises and put yourself all right. And then maybe if the guru decides, one of them would get it. Now the idea is, Shree Mataji says it's a blossom time. All of us, thousands of us have to get it. And we can understand that times that we live in, if we don't get it en masse, this world is, I mean, we don't know where it's going, really, the kind of things that we keep hearing around us. So becomes very fantastic thing to believe. But first of all, we need to accept that God Almighty, there is somebody who has made us, and He has thought of us very dearly while making us. And He has made all of these arrangements inside so that we can get to our true self and get connected so that we lead a more beautiful life and we help others as well. So our internal system looks like this. All of us have this built in inside. How does that get built in? So the power that created us, whatever name we may call it by, entered through our fontanelle bone area, which is here at the top of our head, where we see a sort of lotus made here. This is a soft bone in very small kids, if you have seen, and it even pulsates in very small, young, very newly born kids. That is because this is the spot from where this energy enters and it does all of this creation. When it enters, the brain is like a prism-shaped entity. So it refracts into three parts. The one coming from the right goes to the left, one coming from the left goes to the right, and the center, it creates all of these flower-like things that we see here. These are called as chakras. These can be called as energy centers. On the gross, these are many of them are expressed as the plexuses inside us. And these are also the main crossing points of our nerves inside our body. These chakras control our complete being. So our physical being, mental being, emotional being, and spiritual being. All of these are controlled by these three channels and seven chakras, which are the more important ones. There are several others inside our body. And the energy that does all of this creation after this comes and settles down at the very end of our spine. There is a bone called as sacrum bone. It's a triangular bone. It has been named as sacrum, which literally means sacred. So it has been named this by the Greeks. They probably knew that there is something sacred about this. Now, this energy, when it comes down, it settles into coils, which means kundal in Sanskrit. This being the mother power, she's been named as Kundalini. She comes down and settles there. And as you grow up, this calcification happens. We say that kids are, they're forms of God themselves. So, because they're connected to the divine, awakening of this Kundalini and establishing this connection again is everything that can be done in the name of spirituality, religion. This is what has to be achieved. This is what has been talked about. And this is the main goal of spirituality. So this awakening, when it happens, what does it do? Kundalini passes through these six chakras and pierces through the fontanelle bone area. There is an all-pervading power around us. This power has done all the creation and does the everyday work that we see around us of the flowers becoming fruits, the germinating of seeds, the life that is truly there. Everything that is actually the living work is being done by this power. We can call that power by whatever name we want. But this is what it is, that the Kundalini awakens, it pierces through this area and it connects with this power that is all around us. And then this power starts flowing through us. We've heard since childhood, Kan Kan mein Bhagwan, every single atom and molecule has God inside. We've never experienced Him. This is the first time that we can experience. Now, what happens when this power starts flowing through us? If there are any problems inside our chakras, these get corrected. So slowly and gradually, with meditation, we improve as a person, as a human being. Our health also improves, our mental health improves, and whatever problems we have, slowly and gradually, they get resolved. We start feeling these vibrations, as we call them. When it starts flowing through our nervous system, the end points of our nervous systems are on our hands and our feet. But hands is the easiest one to feel them on in meditation while sitting. So we feel these vibrations on our hands and we feel the status of these chakras because this power is flowing through. So we feel where is the problem. So we feel a little tingling or a little heat there. And we know that this chakra is pertaining to this finger. So we know that this is not all right. Similarly, for others, we can see. And in the center of our palm, we feel this as coming out as a cool breeze. It's been described by Adi Shankaracharya, the first Shankaracharya, who wrote a beautiful book called Saundarya Lahari, which means beautiful vibrations. Lahari, yeah, is vibrations. He says that when Mother's grace dawns upon us, we feel Salilam Salilam Chaitanya, which means cool, cool vibrations. Now, when we feel that, we can use that in our daily lives also to improve a lot of things. It becomes a power flowing through us, which can be utilized for the good of us and for others around us. Again, a very fantastic thing to believe, but it happens and we can experience on our own with practice. I told you about this initially just a little bit so that when we go into meditation, you will know what to expect and what to experience in meditation. Now, there are some steps that we will do uh, before we go into meditation. And we said it's effortless, etc. But there is some, you can say, preparation required so that we are in balance and we help some of our chakras. And then we go into meditation. So we'll just see some steps with our eyes open right now. Later on, we'll do these steps with our eyes closed. And we'll also do some prayers. So we are made out of 5 elements, you all know it. But we use them in meditation to cleanse ourselves, to clear ourselves out. How do we do it? We'll just use some of them now and we'll see how the process is. So in the first step, we'll keep the left hand open in our lap as is shown here and put the right hand on the Mother Earth. Left hand in our lap, right hand on the Mother Earth. In the next step, we keep the right hand in our lap and put the left hand like this towards the sky. Right hand in our lap, left hand towards the sky. Next, we put both the hands on the Mother Earth. Next, so this is how we are sitting. Initially, we could have talked about it to start off, but yes, the next steps we'll do with the left hand in our lap, and the next steps will all be with the right hand. So place the right hand on our heart. Left hand is open in our lap. Right hand, we place it on the heart. And we press it here. Then we place this hand on our forehead. We press it from both sides. We can also bend our head forward a little. Then we place this hand at the top of our head and press it here. We'll stretch our fingers completely and place the center of our palm at the top of our head and press it and move it in a clockwise direction. We place the center of our palm at the top of our head and move it in a clockwise direction while pressing it. We'll have some prayers in all these steps. Now, we will do the steps that we had just seen with our eyes closed. But before that, an important thing to think about is that just doing some steps may not be enough for us to get what we're talking about here. It is a fantastic thing to believe in. But what happens is that one can achieve the state only with the blessings of somebody who is a realized soul themselves. That has been the tradition, and that is how it works, really. One just has to be ready to receive it. So, Shree Mataji Nirmala Devi, whose photograph you can see now, is the one who can bestow this upon us. Her photograph has great qualities. It emits those vibrations that makes it possible to have this great happening inside us. Now, this is an assumption for all of us, but I would request you to please accept it and see if it works. If it works, then it's proved. So we look at our photograph with utmost respect and humility. We keep both our hands open in our lap and sit straight, not very straight, not slouching, but in a balanced way. And while looking at the photograph, we'll now close our eyes. We'll see what is happening inside us right now. Are we able to calm ourselves down? Just pay attention inside with our eyes closed. We will not open our eyes now until I ask you to. Now we will do the steps that we had seen. I'll keep on explaining them as we go. Keep the left hand open in our lap and place the right hand on the Mother Earth. Left hand open in our lap and right hand placed on the Mother Earth. Here we have to pray, Mother, please take out all the impurities of my left channel through the Mother Earth. Mother, please take out all the negativities and impurities of my left channel. It's seen that there are three main channels. We are putting them into balance first. Mother, please take out all the impurities of my left channel through the Mother Earth. We'll see what is happening on our palms as well while doing these prayers. Just pay attention to our palms and see what is happening. We'll place the right hand in our lap now and place the left hand bent from the elbow towards the sky. Right hand in our lap and left hand bent from the elbow towards the sky. Here we have to pray, Mother, whatever imbalances, impurities are there in my right channel, please take them out through the ether element. Mother, please take out all the impurities and negativities of my right channel through the ether element. Again, Pay attention to our palms and see what is happening there right now. Now I'll place both the hands on the Mother Earth. Here we will pray, Mother, whatever imbalances are still left in my left and right channels, please take them out through the Mother Earth. It is important that we come into balance, and only then can we go into meditation. So we'll pray that, Mother, please bring me into balance. Please bring me into the center, into the present. Whatever impurities are still left in my left and right channels, please take them out through the Mother Earth. Bring our hands back into our lap. Keep our eyes closed. The left hand will remain as is in our lap. The right hand we can place on our heart. Right hand is to be placed on our heart and press it so that we feel the heartbeat also. Here resides our spirit. In all of us, there is a spirit, the Atma, which is the reflection of Paramatma, the Almighty, inside us, inside all of us. It is in a witness state and it sees all. In reality, we are the spirit. When I say I like this, I am doing this, it's really not this body, mind, thoughts. In reality, we are the spirit. So we have to assert a great truth. Mother, I am the pure spirit. That is the only eternal thing. Mother, I am the pure spirit. Mother, I am the pure spirit. Nothing else but the pure spirit. Say it with full confidence. Now, as I am the pure spirit, I am not guilty of anything. Many of us always keep feeling guilty for nothing at all, also. Maybe we think we have done some wrong, but we have to leave it to God to judge and decide and forgive. He is the ocean of forgiveness. So we say with full confidence again, as I am the spirit, I am not guilty at all. Mother, I am not guilty at all. Mother, I am not guilty at all. Next, we bring this hand to our forehead and place it across our forehead while pressing from both the sides, like we would in a headache. So we press from both the sides our forehead from our right hand and keep the left hand open in our lap as always and bend our head forward a little here. Here we have to say, Mother, I forgive everyone without remembering anyone, without thinking of anyone. Just say, Mother, I forgive everyone. When we don't forgive, we play into the hands of people who have done us wrong. But when we forgive, we leave it to the Almighty to judge and take over. So we just forgive, say that, Mother, I forgive everyone, I forgive myself as well. Oh God, if I have done any wrong against you, please forgive me as well. Oh God, if I have done any wrong against you, please forgive me as well. Now we'll place this right hand at the top of our head, the fontanelle bone area, and press it from both sides. Our left hand is open in our lap, and the right hand with the palm completely stretched, fingers outstretched, will place the center of our palm at the top of our head, the fontanelle bone area, and press it, move it in a clockwise direction. While pressing it, we'll move it in a clockwise direction so that our scalp also moves around with it. Once again, I'm repeating so that you can understand. We place the right hand at the top of our head and move the scalp in a clockwise direction with the palm while pressing it. Here we must ask for a realization. Shree Mataji cannot give it to us if we don't really ask for it ardently. So with all humility and respect, we have to pray. Mother, please give me my self-realization. Mother, please give me my self-realization. Mother, please give me my self-realization. We'll keep moving the hand. Mother, please give me my yoga, my union with the divine. Mother, please give me my Atma Sakshatkar. Mother, please give me my self-realization. Mother, please give me my self-realization. We shall stop moving our hands now and bring both the hands back into our lap. Open in our lap like we're asking for something. Keep our attention at the top of our head and sit for a few seconds in meditation. We shall slowly bring our attention to both of our palms now. This center of our palm, see if there's a cool breeze coming out, very center of our palms. Maybe in one hand or both the hands you can feel. Then at the tip of our fingers will bring our attention. See if there is a, in one or the other finger, in one hand or the other, there is a small tingling sensation or hand walking kind of a feeling. These are our chakras that are not okay right now. Once again, we'll bring the right hand at the top of our head where we had placed it on the fontanel bone area and raise it a few inches just above our fontanel bone area at the top of our head. And see if there's a cool breeze coming out and touching our palm. We can move our hand back and forth, left and right, and see it very minutely. Bring the right hand back into our lap and see the same thing from our left hand. The left hand just a few inches above the top of our head, the fontanel bone area, just a few inches above, and move it back, forth, left and right. Now, as a last step, we'll put both the hands completely up, stretched towards the sky, elbow straight, palms open towards the sky, and push back our head to ask one of these three questions three times. Oh God, is this the Param Chaitanya? Is this the divine power that does everything? Is this the love of God? Any question three times. We bring back our hands back into our lap and keep our attention once again at the top of our head and sit in meditation for a few seconds. Now slowly open our eyes and look at Shree Mataji's photograph. You can see that there are no thoughts right now, even with our eyes open. This is the first step, thoughtless awareness that we talked about. We'll bring both our hands together in a namaskar to Shree Mataji and our Kundalini mother inside. Thank them for this blissful experience. To those of us who have joined very recently, I would urge you to continue attending these sessions for a while to really establish the experience and the understanding. In one or two sessions, it might not be easy to really grasp and gather what is happening here. But if you continue and practice at home as well, it will work out. Also, one must go to collective meditation. Shree Mataji is always stressed upon that because we get corrected more and more and feel the vibrations more when we do meditate collectively. So you must find out centers near you to attend. Sahaja Yoga is completely free of cost. There is no money charged or made for anything here. Something so precious that it's the first condition Shree Mataji put forward when starting. One cannot pay for it ever. So everywhere you go, you don't have to pay for anything. Lastly, we have a lot of recordings and good sessions on this YouTube channel for you to learn more about Sahaja Yoga. There's a separate channel of Shree Mataji's lectures as well. There are lots of lectures available online. There's a website for the centers called sahajayoga.org. You can find out the centers there. And Nirmala Vidya is one other website where you can see all the lectures. There's a lot to learn. There are thousands of lectures where she's talked about the chakras and various problems and details and how to correct ourselves. One can slowly and gradually learn all of that, but the most important thing is establishing this chaitanya, this vibrations coming into our hands. Without that, everything is again just a lot of wordplay, which doesn't help us. So again, the request is to practice at home and meditate. Now the question arises how to practice at home and how to do all of this. You can learn all of this by joining our WhatsApp group, etc. So we'll be sharing the links. I think it would already be in the YouTube chat, not the chat, but the description, the link. But we'll be putting it up on the chat as well. So you can join the WhatsApp groups and learn how to do this. And you can learn all of this through the other videos on this YouTube channel as well. With this, we'll end the session today. As there are no questions, thank you everyone for joining in. Thank you, Shree Mataji, for this blissful experience. Jai Shree Mataji. Manjuji, you have joined the Zoom link. Is there any question that you had in mind? Or if you wanted to share something, you can. You can unmute yourself.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
हेलो जय श्री माता जी भैया।
Jai Shri Mataji.
हाँ जी भैया। भैया मेरे को ना मैं पहले से ही कर रही हूँ। मैं 3 साढ़े 3 साल से सुषमा दीदी से ही स्टार्ट किया था मैंने।
अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा।
बेटा कुछ दिन से ही करने लगा है।
क्या क्या?
ये बड़ा बच्चा मेरा।
हाँ
हाँ जी अभी कुछ दिन से करने लगा है। जैसे धीरे धीरे उसमें जागृति तो आ रही थी अपने आप से ही,
हाँ
बट वो ना अभी बच्चा है, जैसे +2 में ही है, इतनी विलिंग नहीं थी।
हाँ
अब
हाँ।
उसकी धीरे धीरे विलिंग जागी है।
हम्म।
तो वो माँ दीदी से भी बात हुई थी इसकी 2 बार, तो अभी माँ में उसका विश्वास बढ़ने लग गया। तो
हम्म।
आज वो कह रहा था कि मम्मी मेरा एग्जाम है,
हम्म।
तो श्री माता जी की कृपा से मेरे अच्छे नंबर आएंगे ना अब की बार। मैं कहा बेटा जरूर आएंगे। तो भैया मेरी तो इतनी रिक्वेस्ट थी कि एक बार आप हो सके तो उनको, अभिजीत नाम है,
हाँ
अगर बंधन दे सको या वाइब्रेशन दे सको तो
जी
मैं
बिल्कुल।
चाहती हूँ कि श्री
हाँ
माता जी
हाँ
का दृढ़ विश्वास है आपकी तरह।
ठीक ठीक बिल्कुल।
हाँ जी।
क्यों नहीं।
मैंने भी प्रेयर की थी माँ से, दीदी के पास भी मैसेज छोड़ा था,
हाँ
यही था क्योंकि
ठीक
जो उसमें जागृति आई है ना वो श्री माता जी की कृपा से और बढ़े। वैसे तो बहुत अच्छी तैयारी कर रहा है वो दिन रात,
ठीक
लेकिन बस थोड़ा सा हेल्प मिल जाती तो, थोड़े से माँ के
ठीक।
वाइब्रेशन के बिना तो कुछ संभव नहीं है। जी भैया।